Well, I was very frustrated with the acting classes that I had been taking because I felt like I wasn't consistent. I didn't have like clear technique. I was kind of like, sometimes I'd feel great doing what I was doing, and I was like, wow, that was really cool, but I couldn't repeat it. I didn't really have like solid guideposts to follow, or just like technique. I wasn't properly trained. Um, I don't know how I found the Saturday class, but the universe sent it my way. And that's how I first got introduced to Tom, through the Saturday class, which is like a weekly workshop where they do vocal training and then also scene studies. And that's where I learned about the Tom Todoroff technique. And then from there, I heard about the conservatory. And I was very hesitant to commit to that because I think like imposter syndrome a little bit. Um, yeah, but I'm so grateful I did. And I think, I mean, so many things stick with me throughout my life that I've learned through his technique. But the main one is know your nervous system. I think that's so important for us humans living in bodies. Um, and it's very fruitful. Yeah, it's just very important. And then some quotes: if it's not fun, I'm done. Um, and then favorite guideposts are probably 4 and 8 because I have a tendency to run away from importance, like making something the greatest fight. Um,
Right.
so
Yeah.
guidepost 8.
Number 8 is importance, which is like the stellar Adler quote, no play or movie film ever happens on a normal day. Like
Right.
it's always the most important of circumstances.
Yeah. And then humor, because, if you're not having fun yourself, why are you doing it? It ties really nicely to importance, because if we really value our time, every second we're given to experience life, then we should have fun.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Yeah. I'm so grateful for everything that I've learned through his technique, because it really does apply to life.
Yeah.
He has a really good quote about that, but I'm going to get it wrong. But it's like, be a good human and your acting will be great, or something like that.
Yeah. And there's the other one we often quote is to be an actor is to be a professional human being.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about beekeeping and honey. Kevin
nailed it.
Yeah, that we'll never really know. But
Kevin needs one quote card with that on it, where he just takes all regular quotes and gives them the old Figueroa twist. Yeah.
Yes.
What was the other thing? Yeah, humor, obviously. I mean, that's what's great, the whole thing. And you see that in him and how he teaches as well. It's like those classes are always so fun. They're so motivating. You feel uplifted at the end of it. You feel like you're at a super fun party with some of your best friends. It can be intense depending on the material, but then you shake that off and you're back to having fun as a performer. It's not like some deep, dark therapy session where people are like coming out of it injured human beings. It's to build people up, which is what it should be. And sometimes you hear about classes where just people get broken down. And you also mentioned sometimes things would work, sometimes things wouldn't. Brandon's mentioned that too, where a lot of times you'll be with a coach and maybe different things are contradictory, and it's like, well, you say yesterday you said this and that, and now you say this, and it often seems muddy and kind of foggy and just kind of like out there. Whereas having a framework and a language, the thing that I love, anytime I work with anyone who study with them, I can help them way more because I just speak the language. And like I'll say, oh, make that a discovery, or that's on that line, let's do a little gameplay role play, and instantly you know what I'm talking about. So it's also developed a language, a directorial language. Studying with him has made me like 1,000 times better behind the camera directing someone, because I know what to look for and the words to use it that they can then act upon. And
totally, it's very empowering, like, to know that language. Like you said, it doesn't break you down. It's very he really gives you the freedom to make choice. And
Right.
that happens because we're given such clear structure. Like it's very well communicated. And so
Right.
we can then use it. Like we have agency with his technique, which is so
Right.
cool to express
And-
ourselves as creatively as possible.
And this episode, we wanted to share some notes and quotes and share stories. So this is great. I've got my one of my conservatory binders here. This is November 29th and 30th, 2021. And you mentioned choices. And one of the things he talks about is your talent is in your choice making.
Mhm.
Ask questions about the script and the scene or the monologue, and then you answer them with your choices. And then your performance ends up being those choices. So yeah, and Kevin mentioned it too, like an audition is like a first date. So rather than think about making the right or the wrong choices, one of our improv teachers, Philip, would say there's no right or wrong, there's only weak or strong. So rather than worry about making the right or wrong choices, what are they looking for? What do they want? What's the right choice? How do they want this? It's just show them all the choices that you can make, show them the possibilities, show all the strong options that you can bring to the table, so that you're like, here are all the colors of the rainbow, or all the notes of the scales, or all the notes on a piano that I can play. If you want that, I can do those. And
Yeah.
you just leave it at that, rather than thinking like, oh, what's the right one best way only that I need to do this, which is usually very constrictive and contracting, rather than being expansive and rather than being playful. A lot of times people go into audition rooms and it's out of fear of making a wrong choice, rather than out of love of the game and love of performance and a love to express yourself and share and all that stuff. So yeah, I love it. Do you have any more quotable quotes, lessons, experiences?
Yeah, I do. I always, like, my quick go-to is heart, head, although it should be head, heart, hips. Making sure I have all three in any piece that I'm working on. And I
Right.
think it's really interesting to look at it in that way, because you can see like where you naturally kind of like lean to which one you kind of lean to more. So making sure you're bringing in like colors, that's another thing Tom says, like all the colors, and showing, like you said, different notes. Yeah, and heart, I always start with heart, but it should be head, heart, hips, summarizes that nicely for me. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any favorite classes from conservatory? That's such a hard question. Maybe I throw you under the bus there, because then you got to say favorite.
Who's your favorite teacher and who was shit? I think
There's so many, but
yeah, but anytime I got to work with Tom, you learn a lot watching, but I really unlocked new doors by doing, and then I would see those patterns by watching. Yes, I'm so grateful for like every time I got to work one-on-one, because it really did unlock new things, new experiences. Like you really don't realize what you don't know. You know what I mean? I think our Jared taught us that. There's levels of knowledge, what you don't know.
Yeah. It's, what is it, like unconscious incompetence first. You just don't know that you don't know anything, and then it becomes conscious incompetence, where you're like, oh shit, I don't know anything, but at least you know it. And then it becomes whatever the next level, conscious competence, I guess. Something like that. Still, I think the top level is unconscious competence, where it's just there and it's just in you, and you can't do it wrong no matter what, because you're so well trained. It's just in your body and your muscles. I may be botching that final thing up, but we know what we're talking about here. I love that. So many good stuff. Brandon, do you have any more from your notes?
Not currently, no.
Okay, I've got notes here. Deanna, are you able to stick around in studio for a little bit?
I wish. I gotta run, but I'm so grateful for this platform and everything you guys do, and also thanks for giving us space to say how much we appreciate Tom, and I hope he has the best birthday, full of all the guideposts.
Yes.
The good ones. All good, no judgments. Okay.
Great to see you. Yeah, we'll have you on again. And we should shout out to, let's shout out Bijou Collective, because right after graduating, you and a handful of our other conservatory mates, Tessie, Aaron, and who else was there?
Ksenia, Joanna.
Oh yeah, and Joanna. Yeah, and Joanna, you guys were in LA, and you were nominated or won? Nominated?
We could say I won. No. I was nominated for the Best Actor Award.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it's so weird to say, it's more imposter syndrome, but genuinely it felt like an honor to be nominated.
Yeah, well,
like
it should. Yeah.
I was just like, it's weird because you're not supposed to do it for the recognition, but when you do get recognized, it hits in a certain way. And I don't know if you're just like reconciling, I don't know, but it was really like, I guess, a sign from the universe to just like keep going. And I felt very touched. And really, I also felt like it was not just me. Like my performance was the way it was because of everyone's input. We really rehearsed a lot. So it's really not just about what I did to be recognized. It was about like all our ideas that came together, and I just put it out there.
Well said. Yeah. Well, congrats on that. And you mentioned your breakthroughs working with Tom, and it was always fun watching other people reach new levels or unlock. And there were many, many times watching you where I would physically see the light bulb in your head go off, and you would just be like, oh, like the amount of epiphanies I would physically in your eyes was delightful. So
I'm so grateful for them.
We're all still learning every day from Tom and his lessons. As I hear his voice and I hear his quote, I look at scripts and I'm like, what would Tom say? I speak to other actors and I'm like, well, if you want my opinion, I always weave it, instead of it being my opinion, I'm like, I think Tom would say this, 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 and this. And then it's not even me saying it.
Yeah, he needs a bumper sticker collection.
Yeah, right.
Many quotes. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Happy birthday, Tom, and we'll see you soon.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.